and Transportation Commission for station area planning to increase transit ridership within a half-mile radius of Davis and East 14th Streets. This was a pilot program. A consultant team was chosen after a competitive process, and in January of 2006, a 27-member Citizen Advisory Committee, or CAC, was selected by the City Council. The CAC met 10 times between January of 2006 and May of 2007. 3 community meetings were held during this time, with 240 area residents participating in these meetings. The T.O.D strategy was formed by this community outreach, with many particular and distinct choices about the strategy being formed by the CAC. After the final meeting, the draft environmental impact report was finalized and circulated, and the T.O.D strategy was presented to other community forums. Staff and CAC representatives made presentations to the Board of Zoning Adjustments, the Planning Commission, the Senior Commission, the Parks and Recreation Commission, numerous homeowner associations, the Chamber of Commerce, and the Downtown Business Association. The T.O.D strategy and the EIR evaluated the potential development of 39 opportunity sites in the strategy area. And just to remind you, that's the half-mile radius around the intersection of Davis and East 14th Streets. The potential development of the 39 sites was carefully calculated, and an additional 15% was added, and that was determined to be the potential development of the area between 2007 and 2030. It's a long-range plan. The potential development of 3,431 residential units, about 121,000 square feet of retail, and approximately 720,000 square feet of office space was evaluated in the EIR. Zoning code and zoning map changes were prepared to implement the new strategy. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on the EIR and later held another hearing on the final EIR, zoning code and map changes, and the strategy itself. The Planning Commission made recommendations on all of these items to the City Council, and the final EIR was certified. The T.O.D strategy adopted, the zoning code and map changes were adopted by the City Council on September 4th, 2007. All of those happened at the same time on September 4th, 2007. The T.O.D strategy helps the city achieve several goals: reduce traffic congestion with new residential development being provided in the transit-rich downtown, reduce air quality impacts from this type of development, enhance retail experience with new residential densities, protection of the city's industrial base by providing appropriate areas for new residential development, and promotion of public health benefits, providing housing that encourages people to walk to transit and to their conveniences. CEIR evaluate at a programmatic level the impacts of 200 residential units at the BART parking lot on the east side of San Leandro Boulevard and 500 units at the Westlake site. That's the vacant site on the west side of the BART station. The application of San Leandro crossings is consistent with what the EIR evaluated. Earlier in 2008, an exclusive negotiating agreement between the City of San Leandro, the redevelopment agency, BART, and Westlake was entered into. This agreement was to ensure a coordinated and comprehensive development of appropriate BART property at the San Leandro station and the Westlake site. An addendum to the ENA was subsequently adopted, and that required Westlake to hold at least 4 community meetings to present their development ideas. So the developers had 2 of those 4 meetings, and some questions have come up as the applicant has been making these presentations to the community. In January of 2006, the for-sale housing market was still strong, and many people assumed that developers would be building for-sale condominiums as part of the T.O.D strategy. In fact, the T.O.D strategy is silent on tenure, and the city is not able to dictate whether residential development is a rental or ownership product. Earlier this year, Westlake decided to partner with Bridge Housing to develop the inclusionary portion of the ultimate build-out of the property. The 200 units at the East BART parking lot and the 500 units at the Westlake property would be a total of 700 units. And with our 15% inclusionary requirement, that would require 105 inclusionary units for workforce housing. In the spring of 2008, Westlake, Bridge Housing, and the city jointly applied for 2 Prop 1C grants. These are state grants. 300 units, 200 market rate, and 100 affordable were the basis of the application. The affordable units would be built by Bridge Housing to maximize that nonprofit's ability to gain access to other funding sources and provide exceptional management of the development following construction. This component of the application had a great deal to do with the application's competitiveness, and the city, Bridge, and Westlake were awarded the commitment of $24.4 million to provide 100% replacement garage, street and landscaping improvements, park and leaf fees, and other various improvements. Future development of the remaining 400 units would only require an additional 5 inclusionary units. So 395 units would be market rate. Now, with that background in mind, I'll stop and I can answer any questions, or we can just turn the presentation over to the San Leandro Crossings team.
Turn it on. Crossings team, please.